Hello everyone, we are back again. Today we are going to do an anime review. We're going to talk about One Punch Man. I am late to the party to this by such a long shot, but I really wanted to talk about the madness, the insanity that is One Punch Man. Now, of course, anyone who's watched it will understand that One Punch Man is pretty much every trope, every overpowered, ridiculous concept in animes shoved into one. And you would think that that would make it ridiculous. And the first time I watched One Punch Man, I watched an episode or two and I was very turned off. I thought it was kind of redundant. I thought it was strange. I didn't see the point in watching the anime. I let it go. And then, quite a while after, one day I was bored. I decided to watch it again. And I pushed through, and holy moly, was I happy that I pushed through because this anime was gorgeous. First of all, before we get into anything else, anyone who is looking for an anime that just manages to make every fight scene look beautiful and amazing and just like you can feel every hit, appreciate every moment of combat, watch One Punch Man. It is fantastic. And the fact that it is done in a way that the main character is considered to be the most overpowered being in the world. He is so overpowered that he kills everything with one punch. That is literally the concept of the entire series. There's no other story. Sure, there's enemies and there's things happening around, but the real down to the roots story is that there is this man named Saitama who just one day decided to become a hero, and he became so strong over the course of only 3 years that everything pretty much dies from one hit from him. And he doesn't understand why, and he doesn't understand really how strong he is. He knows it. He knows that things are everything dies from when he encounters them, but he doesn't really understand how he got to be how he is. He just is. That's the trope, really. It's just the overpowered character for no apparent reason. And what this anime manages to do through this ridiculousness of over the top characters who, and monsters especially, every monster is more over the top than the last. You can really sort of see what it would be like because especially boys, everyone kind of has these fantasies of being this ridiculously powerful person. But you see through Saitama kind of how unfulfilling and boring that would be. That if you just literally beat everything in one or two shots, there's no challenge anymore. There's nothing more to life. And so we kind of see that issue borne out through Saitama, that he's just this regular sort of dude who he just doesn't want to do anything because what's the point? What's the point? And they kind of build this world that is supposed to be sort of making fun and poking fun at this entire concept where not only is he bored out of his mind and unchallenged because of how powerful he is, but even everyone else in the world can't tell how strong he is because he kills everything in one shot. Everyone just assumes that the things he's killing are weak. So it becomes this kind of struggle where he is not even being accepted for how powerful he is because people can't even tell how strong he is. And other heroes are sort of looked upon as like weak because when he comes in, he just kills things in one shot. Or he's supposed to have been stealing people's kills in a sense and their glory because they would fight a monster and beat it up and then they'd be defeated and then he would come in and beat it in one shot. And sort of a similar concept to when someone struggles for 5-10 minutes trying to open a can and they're like, can you please help? And you just go and you just open it and they're like, yeah, well, I loosened it. And it is true, they sort of did loosen it for a good couple of minutes before you came in and just took advantage of that release by having a little bit more force. And that's how people view Saitama within this series. It's actually very interesting when you look at it in dichotomy to Boku no Hero Academia, My Hero Academia. The other anime, I don't know if people have seen it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's one of the most amazing, fun, interesting anime series that have come out in the last couple of years, which follows a bunch of kids in this world where heroes do exist and villains do exist, and pretty much everyone in the world has powers to one degree or another. And within that series, there's a character, the penultimate hero, known as All Might, and he is pretty much, even though not as powerful as Saitama, that's for sure, but has that same similar concept where just from a power and speed and durability, he's pretty much unmatched, at least for many, many, many years, where no one can even come close to touching him. He's so overpowered, but he is glorified within that series. He's viewed as this pinnacle of what it is to be a hero, and he is known throughout the world, and everybody looks up to him. And then you contradict that with contrast that with how Saitama is viewed. It becomes really more interesting as a series, and when you really delve into the philosophical concepts of what it would mean to be so powerful, what would it mean to be in a world where there are all these heroes, but even among them, you're just so far beyond that no one can even touch. And you sort of see that through his mentor, not his mentor, his protege, Genos, who is a young android boy, cyborg, I suppose you would call him, who is the only one who seems to know how powerful Saitama is. And he just slowly comes to realize that no matter how powerful he becomes, he's just never going to come anywhere close to Saitama. And that's another interesting dichotomy. But honestly, the main reason to watch One Punch Man is just because the fight scenes are so awesome. Because you would think with Saitama just killing everything in one shot, it would be boring, right? But through Genos, through the other heroes that you see in their fights, you get these wicked, wicked battles that are really incredible. And the series does manage to introduce characters and enemies that allow Saitama to really go, not full pin, because he's never really pushed to that degree, but he's able to fight and go into these crazy battles, which mostly involve him getting knocked around everywhere, but it's still so awesome. And I do believe the studio who made One Punch Man is the same studio who made Mob Psycho 100, which is another anime I would highly recommend, which showcases a young boy who's ridiculously overpowered, and through the use of color and just light and just the overall background of the story and the fleshing out of the other characters around, the whole series is really wonderful. And that's really what's happening here in One Punch Man. That even though in both series, Mob Psycho 100 and One Punch Man, they are trying to take every trope they possibly can and just make a ridiculous story, but in doing so, they actually make a better story than most anime I've seen in the world. I have said this before in videos, I will say it again. There is such an influx of shitty anime, just crappy quality fighting, crappy quality character development, and it's just sort of, they utilize boobs and ass and ecchi and weird plot lines and redundant humor to sort of cover up the fact that there's not much there. And then you have stories like Mob Psycho 100 and One Punch Man who manage through, even though there's this hyper focus on tropes, make much more relatable characters. You can relate to Saitama, you can relate to Genos, you can even relate to the other heroes around, and even some of the villains. Like, they're understandable, they have backstory, they're fleshed out over the course of multiple episodes in a way that does make them interesting. And again, the combat, even the world itself, is super, super cool. So I think One Punch Man is possibly one of the best animes to come out of the last decade, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of overall quality. It is ridiculous. It is frustrating. I mean, even knowing that it's a whole part of the anime and the tropes and whatnot, that, you know, people don't understand how powerful Saitama is, all these things, I still end up rooting for him. I still want people to recognize like how great he is, and how, because he's just this normal guy. He just wants people to like him. I mean, he's not looking for acceptance. He's not looking to be like lauded and just held up in glory, but he just wants people to recognize that he's doing his best and he's trying hard, and so he's awesome. I honestly think Saitama is one of the most pleasant characters to get along to follow along with. compared to most anime series that I've been in. He's a bit simple-minded, but I mean, his even in his simple-mindedness, he's fully developed. He's fully fleshed out. It's not like a character for this might piss off some people. Like, I enjoy the anime One Piece. It's enjoyable. Has way too many episodes, but it's enjoyable. But Luffy, the main character in the anime One Piece, for anyone who's watched it and anyone who hasn't, I'd still recommend checking it out. But he's just dumb. He's just stupid. He's simple-minded in a way that just makes, even after like I think I got up to episode 700 or so, and they're still going strong. Uh, I never cared about Luffy because Luffy is the dumbest, most unchanging character I've ever seen in anime in my life. The only person who comes in maybe a close second is Naruto, but at least Naruto actually develops, and you get to see him, especially in the Boruto series. You get to see Naruto having developed into an adult, and you get to see him actually shift and change. Luffy never changes. He's just always unchanging. Saitama is that nice in between. He's not a genius. He's not some brilliant guy. He's very simple-minded, but he doesn't make you want to punch him in the face from his simplicity. So they managed to find a really nice balance in the series. And maybe I'm taking it way too seriously. Maybe people are looking at me like, why are you taking One Punch Man so seriously? I think it's because, just like Mob Psycho 100, these series, through their ridiculousness, are actually delving into really, really important concepts, and really, especially for people who are anime watchers and like fantasy watchers and those kinds of things, because a lot of kids and people who just grow up with this kind of stuff, they kind of grow up with weird ideas and like this desire. It's sort of something that's semi-explored in ReZero, which is one of my favorite animes, because of how it kind of explores this concept of the otaku, the anime nerd, who just is so obsessed with this kinds of concepts that he just thinks he's going to become special and OP and overpowered and just like rule the world. And Saitama is kind of an exploration of that, and what could be someone who's like that but who doesn't let it get to their head. So it's really great. I'm going to be rewatching the second season and doing a review of that in not long. Right now I'm checking out Gleipnir, which I do recommend. I'm going to be doing a review, and also it's super interesting, cool, bit strange also, but I would recommend checking out Gleipnir for people out there, and I will be doing a review of that soon. I also have a review of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood that's going to be coming out soon. I just got to blow through the rest of the series. Yeah, hope you enjoy. Comment below, let me know what you think about the series. I'd love to hear it. Like, subscribe, check out the website geeksandbarbells.com, and as always, stay healthy, stay geeky, and I like you all. I love you all. Bye bye.